Okay. So, as a career changer and a parent, learning fast and efficiently was really important for me. So, today I would like to share some strategies which you can use to advance your engineering career. We will talk about mentorship, how to prepare impactful sessions, how to find mentors or how to become one. We will talk about pair programming, how the pairing sessions can evolve as your skills evolve. And finally, what are the strategies you can use to use AI for learning. So hi, I'm Hana. I did a PhD in judgment and decision making. Then I was teaching paragliding, and now I'm a Ruby developer. I stumbled upon a course or meetup which is called Ruby Monsters, which was in person in Zurich, and that's where my Ruby journey started. 3.5 years ago, I joined GitHub as a software developer. I work in a code scanning team, in a developer experiences team for most of the time, and I was in AI agents team for half a year. I also co-organize conference, which is called Helvetic Ruby, and we had a third version this year. And I don't like to watch many new films, but I rather prefer rewatching films which I already know, because it's like going for the perfect meal. You know exactly what you'll get. So let's talk about mentorship. Who had a mentor here? Okay. And who was mentoring someone? Cool. Very good. I learn best when I have an actual problem to solve. Since I started learning to code, I always had mentors, sometimes even more at the same time. My first mentors were coaches at Ruby Monsters, and later it was mostly colleagues, or sometimes it was people who I found or connected with through mentoring platforms. Some of the technical topics for the start can be starting with your first or people, juniors, people new to Ruby or Rails, how to start with a first personal project, helping them build their first apps. Then obviously onboarding to a new code base, implementing specific feature, or diving into specific parts of Ruby or Rails. As people advanced, the topics also change. Some of that could be people want to learn how to write more elegant or performant code. They want to contribute to Ruby or Rails source code. They want to learn how to read it and how to learn from it. Another topics we covered were observability and incident management, very tied to the company and to processes you work in. New language or languages contributing to open source projects. Apart from technical mentoring, there's also career mentoring. Topics which I like to discuss with my mentees, or which I discussed when I was a mentee, were understanding the field, so general software engineering field, understanding the company when you join it, how reflections, so self-reflections and feedback is written, how does it work, what are the career options, promotions, visibility, how to create visibility. And there are other skills like giving feedback, communicating, leadership within a team. Here are some of the topics which I have prepared for my mentees when they join GitHub, and I'm their onboarding buddy. We usually have two people helping the person. One is in their own team, helping them onboard with the code base, and these topics are more company specific. So first of them is how to manage notifications. At GitHub, we have many things going on. We have notifications coming from many different places. So this is one of the topics. Second is how to manage Google Calendar, visibility of event, inviting others, how to block time. As a remote company, our work relies heavily on asynchronous tools and meetings which you can schedule. Also, because we are a C company, almost every interaction is a meeting. If it's real time, otherwise it's async. So which meetings to attend, which not, how to set them up. Tech stack, we use Rails, Ruby. In our team, we also use Go and React right now. Pairing is another topic. We have unlimited holidays or unlimited PTO. So for many people who come from a different company, this is a big question. So this is all the implicit knowledge. Okay, what does it actually mean? How people handle that? Can I take holidays or not? Then we talk about benefits, reflections and feedback, promotions, mentoring within GitHub and outside of it, how our on-call works, how to lead projects when they move forward, and also how to create visibility for their work, but also for their team's work. As you see, a lot of these topics cover implicit knowledge, which may not be documented officially, but people feeling confident in company culture find it very useful. Both as a mentor and mentee, you can contribute a lot to success of your sessions. One of the important things to set up the topics. What is the thing you actually want to learn? Talk about the expectations early and also about the time frame. From my personal experience, it's usually better to have a limited time frame and then decide, do we want to continue or not? If you want to approach someone and ask them if they would mentor you, it's way easier to say, hey, I would like to meet over the next 6 months, once per month, and discuss these topics. Or maybe it's weekly, maybe it's bi-weekly. But people know that it has an end and that this commitment doesn't mean that they would be stuck with you forever. And then finally, preparing for the sessions to maximize the value. Both as a mentor and mentee, you have a limited time. So going over your notes, think about what you want to get from that session will help you. And how to be a good mentor. It's good to check with your mentee on the topics, because they may come to you having something they want to learn, but you as a mentor have way better overview of the field, of other topics which may be beneficial or interesting. So check with them regularly. You can give them contained short tasks to accomplish between the sessions. Because let's be honest, talking is nice, listening is nice, but we learn when we do things first. And also bring your insights, even if it's not part which you were explicitly asked for. On the other side, how to be a good mentee. So prepare, do the task. If you have a task, if you wanted to do something for the next session, find the time to do that. Block your calendar. Write down the questions between sessions, because often those questions or topics don't come when you are thinking about the mentoring sessions. They come when you are actually doing the work. And just before the actual session, take 5 to 10 minutes and prepare the setup. Like if you pair, then open your development, either editor, local development, code space, and prepare the code base, open the windows you want to share. And then, so when you start, you can actually dive into the problem and you don't have to spend 5-10 minutes looking at things loading or searching for the current issues and documentation. Then how to find a mentor? Some companies, and especially bigger companies, may have an official program which connects people who want to mentor with those who want to mentor. But even if not, you can ask your colleagues or their programs which are outside of your company, which you can join both as a mentor or a mentee. And for me, what worked most was actually asking people I already knew they're working on the part I wanted to learn. And especially if they're your colleagues, they're highly motivated to help you, because the more you learn, the less questions you will have for them later, and the more independent you will be. As I said, having a clear goal, plan and timing is important for both parties to know what to prepare for. And if you approach someone for the first one, show them that you did the work. If you have a structure, if you have a clear topics, and if you have the commitment, the chances that they will agree to meet with you are way higher. Also, if you can find topics or projects which are useful for them as the mentor, the chances that they will want to work with you are way higher, because you may be actually helping them. You may be helping them with their open source project or about things they care. And then why to mentor? Well, it's one way how to give back. When I started Ruby, I heavily relied on my coaches and mentors, and that's what helped me to learn fast. So for me, mentoring is one way to give back to the community and also to my colleagues. Also, you can create meaningful professional relationships, because if you meet with someone regularly, especially if that person is from your company but outside of your immediate team, you're creating network. And lastly, it often pushes you to understand the concepts better, because when you work with something, it often works. When you read it, you understand it. But the moment you need to explain it to someone, that's when you understand what are you still missing. And you can do both. So being a mentor doesn't mean that you can't be a mentee at the same time. Actually, it's usually very good to understand both sides of this. There's always something which you can learn. There's always something new which you can bring to someone else. So I really like being on both sides of this equation. Find the topic which you want to learn more about and go for it. Teaching is one of the best ways to learn, and you will learn how to discover your blind spots, and you will be forced to understand whatever you're teaching better. Who heard about sponsoring here? Okay. We have some people. So, while mentorship is about providing guidance and advice, sponsoring is connecting the people with real opportunities and pushing them forward. I created a couple of topics and what that means, how you can support that with mentoring and sponsoring. For example, if you know that your colleague or mentee wants to go for a promotion. As part of the mentoring, you can talk to them about career expectations, what are the career ladders in your company, what are general expectations in the field. Through sponsoring, you can create more visibility for the work they're doing. You can connect them with a more impactful project. You can advocate for them. Which leads us to more impactful projects. Again, as a part of a mentoring, you can tell them where to find them, where's your company's roadmap, how to signal what they're interested in. As a sponsoring, you can bring up their name if you're in the meetings when the work is planned. For example, if someone would want to attend the conference and they don't have a lot of budget, you can tell them about possibilities, how to get support, about sponsorships. As a sponsoring, you can connect them with the conference organizers, or you can even find a way how to sponsor their ticket through some programs or a company. If someone would like to speak at a conference, again, mentoring, you can go over their CFP proposal, you can practice their talk, you can be helpful there. But also, as a sponsoring, if you talk to speakers, you can suggest them or you can recommend them. Of course, if you truly believe in them and want to support them. Second part of the talk is about pairing. Who likes to pair? Okay. Pairing is one of the tools which is often used in mentoring, but it's not the same. Mentoring is way more, and you often can pair without being part of a mentoring session. So not all pairing is mentoring, and not all mentoring needs pairing. But a lot of transfer of technical knowledge happens through pairing. So what do we learn when we pair? Initially, when people start, it's about learning about the code base, right? They want to know how to find things, what classes and methods your application is working with. Then, when they get their task assigned, they want the support to start that work, right? Where to find things, how to test things, how to set up the development. Later, they know how to start themselves, so it's good to let them know, or if you're the person who initiates the pairing, you can start on your work yourself, and then when you hit a roadblock, that's when you call for a pairing session, and you look at the debugging more tricky problems. If you already can implement the whole feature or solution yourself, it's still good to have a pairing session with someone more senior or more experienced in that part of the code base, and you can discuss your approach before opening the PR. And maybe you will find better ways how to do that. And finally, even if the whole work is done without any pairing and you open the PR, it's nice to give a walkthrough PR aided to the reviewer who will be reviewing your code, or you can also use it as a teaching opportunity. So you can open a PR and walk through it with your junior developer to explain them why you did the things you did the way you decided to do them. Recently in our team, we started to do these swarming sessions. The idea is that every 2 weeks, all of the developers and our engineering manager, we meet for an hour and we pair on one specific thing. We rotate who leads the session, and we try to look for small issues to implement or bugs or investigations. And we started this 2 months ago, I think, and it was a huge success. Not only these meetings increase our team cohesion because we work remotely, but they're also crucial in sharing that implicit knowledge and to finding how to get things done and how to find things. Like this, we also managed to resolve small bugs or fix issues which would just die in a backlog otherwise. Some of the examples of things people learned were using the shortcuts, seeding the data, how to use some of the more advanced features of text editors, how to navigate our own code base. And generally, everyone was very happy to attend these. And finally, this is the AI part. So who did use AI to learn? Well done. Now, from the research, we know that there are more useful strategies to learn and strategies which work less. So here's a list of 6 strategies, and it's on you to guess which ones are more useful ones and which are less useful ones. So you can guess for yourself as I go through them. So first one is rereading books and notes. If you think this is a good strategy, you can put your hands up. Okay, so generally this is not considered as a very efficient strategy. It makes us feel better, but we don't learn that much. Recalling things from memory. This is one of the strongest learning strategies. Free recall, if you have a topic or a questions, and without looking into your notes, you try to remember everything, all the answer, really strengthens the pattern in your brain. Mini testing. Yeah, I was too fast. Mini testing is checking regularly on the knowledge you're learning, right? So you learn something and then you ask questions or you do a little test about that topic. This is something which works well because it shows you what you really know and what you don't know. The problem with us is that when we learn something new, we understand it. But when we need to use it, that's where we learn what we are still missing. So mini testing gives us fast feedback on our real knowledge. Underlining? No, that's not super efficient. Multitasking? Yes. Whatever you do, if you can focus, the results are way better. And finally, solving different problems. Yes. If you use the knowledge you're trying to learn in different contexts for different problems, you're strengthening that knowledge and making it more flexible. So what do you think? For which we can use AI to help us with? So for 2 and 3, we can ask AI to generate questions for us about provided materials, right? If you're learning something, we can put it in and tell it, okay, give me a test from this material, or prepare 10 questions about this. And then you can check how well you know it. And for 6, we can let it generate different exercises. So if you're learning one concept or new method or a problem you encountered, you can let generate the exercises where you will practice that skill. So from psychology of learning, we also know that having overview and bigger picture helps us to understand the concept and learn better. So how can we learn better? These are some of the example prompts. You don't have to copy them or use them. Also, the slides are published on a website, so you can see them later. But this is an example how to get, for example, bigger picture about the code base. Recently, I need to work on a code base of a different team, which is new to me, and getting an overview of a flow was very helpful for me. The same goes for understanding a complex function. You may want to know where is it used, who calls it, what are the possible outcomes. And AIs are pretty good in getting this kind of structured data. Finally, this is an example of a one prompt where you have all-in-one, so you can analyze the following code and give a high-level overview what it does and list every major execution path. So like this, you can get overview and big picture of a new code, or also you can check your understanding of the code you're already working with. As I mentioned previously, getting feedback fast is a really good way to learn. One thing is mini testing, but other ways we have as a developers is CI and tests, right? We push a commit, we have a CI to run. If we messed up something and things stop working, we see that immediately. But you can, with AI, you can get way more feedback. For example, you can ask about readability, improved performance, elegance or cleanness, what are the refactoring opportunities, if there are any edge cases which you forgot to cover, and if there are any alternative implementations. And you can do this for even the smaller chunks of code. And I would say that it's even better, right? If you write a method, if you change a method, get the feedback right there. Then, as I mentioned, focused attention. This is something AI won't help us with. It's on us, people. Repetition. Again, we can use variation of exercises to strengthen the knowledge we are learning. So to sum up, what tasks are good for AI to learn? You can let it explain things. If it's a new code, if it's a code you worked with in the past, if it's a new language or framework, maybe just the one method. You can ask about alternatives and comparisons. And you can also write down your understanding first and then check with the AI. And if you can, don't be lazy and think when you're using AI. Try not to multitask. Nowadays, it's really easy to just outsource that, right? And it's okay to do that sometimes, to say, okay, fix this test or create tests for this big method. But the moment where you're learning is where you actually think about that. And especially for AI, you need to check its outputs. It works best when you can decide if what it suggests you is true or makes sense, right? So for every code generated, ask a human to review it and review it first. And with that, that's all I wanted to share with you today. So happy mentoring, pairing, and learning. There are two links. One is to the slides, to the talk, and who heard about First Ruby Friend program? Yes, so that's a program from Andy Kroll, where he connects mentors and mentees. Now it's paused, but it should be back in 2026. And I would like to learn from you, what's the one thing which you would like to try? And if you have a minute or even less, you can scan this QR code or go to that URL, and there's a feedback form which will be active for the next 3 days. So I would love to hear from your feedback and experience. These are the attributions for the logos which I used. And finally, I would like to thank you mentors who accompanied me on my Ruby and Rails journey. So thank you to Ferdi, Michal, Afrin, Arthur, Bogdana, Orhan, Matthew, Anna, Luca, and Isa. Isa wasn't my official mentor, but she was my manager and late director, and I still learned tons from her. And that's all. Thank you very much, and if we are not in touch, we can do that. Have a nice evening.